Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to The Truth, where today I'm going to give you my predictions on this week for the NFL. This is week 4, so I'm super excited just to go over where everyone stands before we dive into the games and stuff. If we're going AFC side first, I'll be on the left. Dolphins lead. Then Dolphins have the number 1 seed. The Steelers have the number 2. Actually, let's go division by division. How bad? We'll go AFC East, Dolphins, Dolphins. Sorry, Dolphins, Bills, Patriots, Jets, and then Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals for the NFC North. That's a good division. I'm really loving it. AFC West, that is Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, and then the AFC South, Colts, Texans, Jaguars, Titans. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I did not think the Colts would be 2-1 right now. NFC West, you got the 49ers, which makes a lot of sense while they're on top. Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals. Watch out for the Rams. Watch out for the Rams. Then you have the AFC and the NFC East, Eagles, Cowboys, Washington, whatever they're called, and New York Giants. Sorry, Washington, but I always forget. And then in the NFC South, you have the Falcons, Saints, Buccaneers, Panthers, and then you have the NFC North, which with the Packers, Lions, Bears, and Vikings. So I have an updated injury list. This covers most recent. Thank you, ESPN. Sorry for the moving the screen. My bad. Thank you, ESPN. Amazing. I can see like details and like if they're questionable, injury reserve, whatever. So let's dive into the. Let's go into the AFC versus NFC. I feel like that's gonna be really important. This is gonna be a big, interesting one, just because it's played out of country, so it's gonna be basically a neutral site. Sorry, I'm hydrating. I stay hydrated. Long day. It's a neutral site, so throw home field out the way. If we go to the injuries, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Cordero Patterson is questionable. I think that's big. Just going through everything, Ethan Greenidge kind of sucks. But going through everything, Matt Hennessy, I didn't see that. Matt Hennessy. I didn't see that either. It's not a lot of it's depth. A lot of it is depth, and it sucks. But I mean, if I'm being honest, I think Cordero Patterson is the real big one here. That's kind of like if you have Cordero during that game, it's gonna be really impactful. Because I'll be honest, I think they should use Cordero as more of like that flex position where you can put him at receiver, put him at running back, kind of way, to where I feel like that's where you best use him when you have Bijan and Tyler Algier. All right. Then going to the Jaguars. Sorry, it's taking me to scroll. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do this situation. You got a couple couple amount of injuries, couple questionable players. Zay Jones, that's gonna be interesting to see. Andrew Wingard, that's gonna be interesting to see. Don't really know how to say that defensive tackle's name, but yeah. Josh Allen, that's a big one. That's gonna be a big one if he does not play or not. Devin Lloyd's out. Anton Harrison is questionable. I'm still looking. Those are the really big guys, other than a lot of depth. That's still really impactful. Like if Zay Jones, if Andrew Wingard, Josh Allen, they don't play, that's really gonna shape it up. And I feel like to really stop that Atlanta offense, you're gonna need a decent secondary. Because I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest proponent of Atlanta's starting quarterback. I really need to see more from him. And I don't really believe in the weapons that they have. Like they don't. I'm not saying they're not. I don't believe they don't scare me. Except their running game's like, okay, if you don't stop that, you're definitely losing. But other than the run game, like if you stop the run game, you make them one dimensional. That's it. Like I think that offense falls flat. I haven't seen enough of them yet to really change my mind. So I mean, I think Jacksonville's the better team. I think ideally they should win this game. But if one thing were to hurt them, it'd be injuries. And then when I feel like the only one out that's really impactful is Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd really hurts. But I mean, a lot of these guys are questionable. Harrison's a day-to-day, which I don't know. Zay Jones didn't practice Wednesday. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, I don't think he's gonna play. Andrew Wingard is questionable. It doesn't say. I assume he did practice, just limited. Man, Josh Allen would be impactful for them too. And that's kind of where I'm sitting at here is like, if these guys play, I have faith in them. I like that Jaguars offense. I do think they can do some things. I want to see more from that. It's really Antoine Harrison. That's really my big question mark of what's going to really happen. But overall, I like the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game. Going on to the Rams versus Colts. I'm gonna be honest. If I'm using my personal opinion right now, or let's look at the Colts. Quentin Nelson, that's questionable. Ryan Kelly's questionable. Anthony Richardson's questionable. DeForest Buckner's questionable. Jonathan Taylor is out. Gerald Everett is out. And those are the big ones. I don't, especially it's a young roster. I feel like not having DeForest Buckner, not having Gerald Everett, and not having Jonathan Taylor and then Anthony Richardson being questionable, I think that's really going to hurt both sides of the ball for Indianapolis. That those are two two really big parts of their offense that offense and defense that really need to get going and really help that team win. I mean, like I don't want to say, oh yeah, this player's out and they won't win. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out where they're scrolling or where they are. Just okay, there we go. Those are really impactful for them because that's really what gets that offense going. If I'm now looking at it, the Rams, Ben Skoranek, Tyler Higbee, Puka Nacua, limited on Wednesday. Higbee missed, and Skoranek missed. Cooper Kupp is on injury reserve. Man, injuries are just killing guys this year. I mean, they really are. If I were to say anything, with all that in mind, I still like the Rams to win this, even though they're not home. I mean, yeah, the Rams win, even though they're not home, just because if Puka starts, if Puka plays, Puka's done really good this year so far. And I'm going to keep riding with that. Denver versus the Bears. Look, I'm going to be honest, it doesn't matter. The injury report doesn't matter. These two are both bad teams. And I'll be honest, this one really doesn't matter. I'll say that just because, like I said before, they're both bad teams. They both have lots of holes. My main thing is, I want to pick Denver just because I'll pick Denver away. Just because, dog, you have Sean Payton, you have Russell Wilson, especially after how you lost like that. I know that old Sean Payton's coming back, and he's lighting a fire under them. He's really getting after them. He's chewing them. He's picking them gritty details. Like whenever he was with New Orleans, that early time, he was hard on them. He worked them. I feel like that's what he's doing right now. And I feel like that's what's really going to change them, and that's what's really gonna really turn that team. I don't know if it'll turn that team around, but I think it will definitely help them win this game. And then give me Dallas against the Patriots. That's another one I'm kind of more confident in. Dallas needs a comeback win. If Dallas loses this game, they're not going to be highly touted anymore as the number 3. Overall, a lot of general population believe that Dallas is the number 3 ranked team in the NFC. They're not. They're going to drop. So give me Dallas. I feel like this is a must win for them without looking at injuries and stuff. Dolphins and Bills, I will look at the injuries for. The Dolphins are right here. If we scroll through, Teron Armstead's questionable. Jalen Phillips is questionable. Jalen Waddle's questionable. Connor Williams questionable. Jeff Wilson is out. Jalen Ramsey is out, but they've been out with Jalen Ramsey this entire season. Keeping that in mind, going to the Buffalo Bills, scrolling all the way up. Buffalo, looking at that, Leonard Floyd's questionable. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyder questionable. Brian Bates is questionable. Von Miller's out. I'm scrolling back to this. I think that's the thing that's questioned. Both of them didn't practice. Both safeties didn't practice. Give me the Dolphins. I know it's at Buffalo's home, but if they didn't practice, that really doesn't make me think they're gonna play. No, I'm waiting for the Thursday report to come out and say, okay, did they practice? Did I not practice? Because if they don't practice Thursday, they're basically out. But them not practicing Wednesday doesn't give me faith right now. So give me the Dolphins. Look, I'm gonna be honest. You play them Dolphins, you're gonna need help. You're gonna need a lot of secondary help because they got some burners. I know Jalen Wall is questionable, but they got Tyreek. They got their running backs. They got a lot of fast running backs. You got to have guys in the secondary who can wrap up, come down, and make tackles, and not having both of your safeties who are interchangeable can come down and help the run game. They haven't played today. That's gonna be really impactful in that game. So give me Miami. Ravens versus Browns. That's another one where I'm gonna check out the injury report. The Baltimore Ravens. Scrolling down, Tyler Lindenbaum's questionable. Ronnie Stanley, Kyle Hamilton sat out practice. Participated. Marcus Williams did participate. Rashad Bate didn't practice. Odell didn't practice. That's big for them, man. Justice Hill, Marlon Humphrey questionable. Our injuries are David Ojabo questionable. J.K. Dobbins is out. I think everyone knows that. Tyus Bowers is out. Man, that's a long list. Especially like with having both your starting safeties questionable. One did participate, so I'll keep that in mind. Tyler Linderbaum did participate. Stanley returned to practice on Wednesday. Keep an eye on Stanley. Rashad Bateman didn't practice, not a little bit in practice. Look, I like that Ravens offense. I like the weapons they have. I think they have a lot of potential. But I'm gonna be honest, that's Lamar's one of two biggest weapons. They still do have the receiver they drafted and Mark Andrews. So I won't completely call them out. Mark Andrews, you leave him 1-on-1, he's gonna do some things. Really good contested guy. And then if we scroll down to the Cleveland Browns, Jerome Ford limited in practice. That really scares me because they're kind of thin at running back. And then Kareem Hunt, who suffered a ribs/groin injury, we're not really specifically expected to play. I don't know, though. Those ribs and groin injuries could be interesting. Greg Newsome not playing. Joel Benito questionable. Deshaun Watson questionable, limited on practice. That's big. Greg Newsome's questionable. I mean, these are some guys. Give me Baltimore, just because the Browns have a lot of impactful players who are questionable, who I don't know. Like, if the Browns can't run the ball, don't have a good back to run the ball, they're going to become one-dimensional real quick, and that's going to lead in the Ravens' favor. It's tough for a team to win one-dimensionally. Texans versus Steelers. Give me the Steelers. I know they play away. I'm picking a lot of away teams this week, but I do believe the Steelers are the better team out of the two. I think they'll win, especially with Mike Tomlin. Bengals versus Titans. Give me the Bengals. The Bengals need a bounce back one. That's the thing. Like the Bengals aren't doing too well. I feel like it's just bound to happen where they're gonna come back. And the Titans, they after that Chargers game, they really did not do well the week after. And the Bengals had the potential to score so many points. They're so high flying. Give me the Bengals. The Derrick Henry, watch out for him. And Tajee Spears, I believe is his name. Two good running backs. Raiders versus Chargers. That's another one where I kind of have more faith in the Chargers. I'm more down the Raiders. And then Chiefs versus Jets. Give me the Chiefs. There are some couple games where I'm just kind of like I have confidence in. The Lions versus Packers. I'm really gonna have to check out that injury report. Detroit Lions, right here. Chauncey's injury reserve, so he's out. Tyler Decker's questionable. Emmanuel Mosley's questionable. David Montgomery's questionable. Not really too many. A lot of depth, but not really too many big, impactful players. Chauncey's big. A couple of tackles that could be really big. Sorry, guys. That could be. So let me check that real quick. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm good. Sorry, I had to really check that. Could be big, but I mean Mosley's questionable. But we'll keep an eye on that. David Montgomery's questionable, but I do like their other back that they have. Let me check the Green Bay Packers right here. Zane Anderson. David Bakhtiari's out. Devondre Campbell's out. Jair's questionable. Christian Rosson's questionable. Aaron Jones is questionable. Eric Stokes is out. Man, this is a game where I'm going to have to choose the Lions. I'm picking a lot of away teams, but I mean, the away teams are looking more healthier this year. The Vikings versus the Panthers. Vikings don't have the best defense, but Panthers don't have the best offense. This one I'm definitely going to have to check. Carolina Panthers. Who's playing for Carolina this week? Okay, who do they have? Chandler Zavala's questionable. CJ Henderson's questionable. Miles Sanders is questionable. Limited in practice. That's something though. Jonathan Mingo, limited participation with the concussion. Mingo's a good receiver for them. Frankie Louvi did not practice. That's impactful. Shaq Thompson didn't practice. Is injury reserved. J.C. Horn's injury reserved. Xavier Woods doubtful. They had some impactful players that are questionable and doubtful. Let me go to the Minnesota Vikings and see how they're looking. Sorry, guys, take me. So there we go. Minnesota. Pat Jones questionable. Marcus Davenport questionable. Not seen at practice makes me think he's probably not playing. Byron Murphy Jr. That's a questionable one. Looking through this, not really too many players. I feel like the one big one are the Byron Murphy Jr. and Marcus Davenport, but to really not see impactful players on the offense, which look, give me the Vikings out of the way. Justin Jefferson, like who's going to guard Justin Jefferson? I expect him to have a great game. Even if you double him, I still expect him to get open sometimes. He's going to have a great game. They're going to get him the ball. They have Jordan Addison. Who's going to cover him? They have a great receiver. I just think that this Vikings offense will outscore the Panthers offense. I feel like that's what's going to really put the Panthers in a bind is they're not going to be able to keep up enough with this high air raid attack that the Vikings have at their fingertips. Give me Eagles at home. That's one where I'm kind of feeling that one. The Eagles at home against the Commanders, who some people are high on, some people aren't. Also, the record really dictates some stuff. But give me the Eagles. Saints versus Buccaneers is one I'm gonna have to check. Sorry, guys, it's taking me so long. I need to scroll down. My bad, guys. I'm so sorry. New Orleans Saints. Cesar Ruiz had a concussion. I don't expect him to play. Jordan Howden finger didn't practice. Foster Moreau didn't practice. Paulson Adebo didn't practice. Derek Carr didn't practice. That's big. I mean, that's big. Paulson Adebo, I think they'll survive on defense. Jordan Howden is not playing. Who's going to be their safety? That's going to be interesting to see. Because you need a safety because you're going to need somebody. Because that could be a liability. We'll see. Jordan Howden to look at, but the only big one is I'd really say is Derek Carr, but it's Derek Carr and Cesar Ruiz, and then Jordan Howden. Those are the really three big ones. Is because Jordan Howden, who's going to step up and be that other safety? Because they drafted Jordan Howden to play and to develop and see because they really liked him. The main thing is I keep an eye on Jordan Howden just because it's a finger injury, and it's just kind of like that's something you could play through. So I don't know if that's something that they were just kind of resting him. That is something. Paulson Adebo hamstring, probably not practicing. It's really hard to work those hamstrings. I'm probably not playing. Derek Carr's probably not playing either with that shoulder injury. I doubt it. It's going to be week to week, but I doubt it, especially with I do believe they have trust in Jameis. And then Cesar is a big one, but they do have a good backup guard in Andres Pete, who is injury concerning because he gets injured a lot. But, he's not too bad of a guard. And then going to Tampa Bay, Jamal Dean's questionable, did not participate. Devin White, considered non-participant for Buccaneers walkthrough Wednesday. That's big. Vita Vea missed walkthrough Wednesday. That's another big one. Kalijah Kancey missed. Carlson Davis, inactive for Monday's contest against the Eagles. I'll keep an eye on that one. Ryan Jensen's out. That's big. I feel like defensively, you need guys who can stop that run because that's the one thing New Orleans is going to want to do. They're going to want to run the football, especially with Jameis being a backup. They're going to want to run the football. So when you miss your two really impactful defensive tackles in Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey, that's impactful. Carlton Davis didn't practice. That's a corner they're going to need. Jamal Dean didn't practice. That's another corner they're going to need. They're playing New Orleans. They're playing at New Orleans. So defensively, you're going to need some guys who can keep up with this New Orleans Saints wide receiving core. This is one of the more underrated receiving cores is New Orleans. You just have to get them the ball. So to see them out, to see Devin White possibly out too, I'd really look at New Orleans. If you have, I believe it's Kendre Miller for fantasy, I'd keep an eye on that. You might want to start him because he might have. If Vita Vea, if they don't play, even with New Orleans injuries, give me that because I think New Orleans is going to have a good run game this week. So with that being said, I have more faith in New Orleans, especially since it is home for them. Cardinals versus 49ers, give me Cardinals. And Seahawks versus Giants, that's a Monday night game. The Giants get a little extra rest. Man, let me look at the injury report real quick. That's another one I want to look at. Seahawks, Will Dissly, Kobe Bryant, Charles Cross is questionable, Jamal Adams is questionable. Not saying what happened with them is gonna be interesting. Tyreek Woolen, good chance to return against Week 4. Going to Pete Carroll with a chest injury. I like some more in depth with that. Really trying to scroll through this and really see if anybody. Nothing really big pops up to me. Other than Charles Cross, who's questionable, Jamal Adams, who's questionable, and then Tariq Woolen. But I mean, it didn't say they didn't participate, so I kind of like where they're at. That's not bad. Let me go to the New York Giants. New York Giants. Saquon's questionable, making progress as he recovered from a sprained ankle. I don't know. Andrew Thomas is questionable. Azeez Ojulari, linebacker's questionable. Ben Bernison, Evan Neal. Neal exited Thursday games in the fourth quarter with an apparent ankle injury with no updates. I don't know. Those ankle injuries are really tough to go against with offensive linemen. But I mean, it's nothing crazy. Saquon's going to be the one big factor. If Saquon doesn't participate, give me the Seahawks. Saquon's had that injury history, and that really scares me in that game. Because if you have Saquon, I do believe it will help them a lot. So going through the divisions, for the AFC East, I have Dolphins undefeated, Bills 2-2, Patriots 1-3, and then Jets 1-3. And then for the AFC North, I have Steelers 3-1, the Ravens 3-1, the Browns 2-2, and the Bengals 2-2. I have for the AFC West, I have the Chiefs 3-1, the Chargers 2-2, the Raiders 1-3, and the Broncos 1-3. And then the AFC South, I have the Jaguars 2-2, the Colts 2-2, the Texans 1-3, and the Titans 1-3. And then wrapping up with the NFC West, I have the 49ers undefeated, the Seahawks were on their butt 3-1, the Rams were on their butt 2-2, and then the Cardinals were on the Rams' butt 1-3. I have the same thing with the NFC East. Giving me Eagles, then Cowboys were on their butt, Commanders were on their butt, and then New York were on the Commanders' butt. And then similar fashion, just not with an undefeated team with the AFC North, I have the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings at 3-1, and then the Bears still with not a single win. And then with the AFC South, we all thought it was going to be close. So I have the Saints at 3-1, the Falcons at 2-2, the Bucks at 2-2, and then the Carolina Panthers without a win. That's what I have so far. Tell me what you think. What you think is going to happen? Who you think is going to push through and play? What's going to really happen? Tell me your thoughts on what teams I chose. Are they valid opinions? Are they not valid opinions? Where do you think is like, nah, I think you're wrong at this point. I think this team has more of an underrated backups than you think, or this team's a little more underrated in this department or whatever. Tell me if there's anything you like how I do about videos. If there's anything you don't like, comment on it. Tell me if there's anything you want me to talk about next, or like, for instance, players, teams, diving into it, coaching schemes, ref callings, anything, just let me know. I'm really wanting to get the feedback to understand how I can be a better YouTuber. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.